Learning English with English faculties.
Welcome to this explainer. If you're a healthcare professional gearing up for the OET, the Occupational English Test, you already know the deal. Getting that grade B is absolutely crucial. It's literally the key to your professional registration. But let's be honest with ourselves. The writing subtest can feel incredibly stressful. You have exactly 45 minutes to read through a really dense set of medical case notes and somehow transform them into a perfectly polished, professional letter. It sounds totally intimidating, right? Well, it absolutely doesn't have to be. Today, we're going to break down this entire 45-minute journey into a completely predictable, stress-free system. We are going to master this OET writing task together, making sure you walk into test day knowing exactly what those assessors are looking for.
Okay, let's dive into this simple, step-by-step agenda that basically mirrors your exact timeline on test day. We're looking at 1, the 3-letter types, 2, step 1, find the purpose, 3, step 2, select relevant notes, 4, step 3, plan paragraphs, 5, writing and word count, and finally 6, nursing and medicine tips.
Right, section 1, the 3-letter types, and understanding your target reader.
So before that 45-minute timer even matters, we really need to clear up exactly what kind of letter the exam is asking for. It's a real game changer. There are strict differences between a referral, a transfer, and a discharge letter. Think of a referral letter as a partial transfer of responsibility, right? You're typically writing to a specialist because you need their expert assessment and advice on a very specific issue. A transfer letter, on the other hand, means you are handing over the total, overall care of the patient to another healthcare professional. And then there's a discharge letter, which just means the patient is leaving your direct care, maybe going home or to a community clinic, and you're detailing their aftercare needs. If you don't know who you're talking to, you won't know what clinical facts they actually need to hear.
Moving to section 2, step 1, find the purpose. This is all about maximizing your 5-minute reading time. Okay, so when that clock starts, the test begins with a strict 5 minutes of reading time. And I mean strict, no pens, no marks allowed. So what do? You ask yourself, why are you writing this letter? Answering this is the single most important goal you have during those first 5 minutes. The purpose has to be immediately obvious right from the first sentence. Real health professionals are incredibly busy. They need to understand why they're getting this handover instantly. If you just spend those 5 minutes casually reading the patient's entire medical history from top to bottom, you're honestly wasting time. Jump straight to the task instructions at the very end of the notes, find out who you're writing to, and figure out exactly what they need from you right now.
Now, a strong purpose statement looks exactly like this. I am writing to refer this patient who presented today with deteriorating respiratory function for assessment and advice on management. See how direct that is? One of the biggest mistakes candidates make, and please never do this because it will instantly kill your score, is using that weak generic phrase, I am writing to refer this patient to you. Actually, scratch that. Assessors absolutely hate that phrase. You must instantly clarify the medical purpose. Tell them the main diagnosis or symptom and the exact action you need them to take right there in the opening lines.
Section 3. Step 2. Select relevant notes and avoiding the trap of too much information.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows what to do once your 40 minutes of writing time actually starts. You've got these dense case notes, right? Well, heads up, the OET assessors deliberately pack these notes with extra, totally unnecessary medical details. It's a trap. They include distracting background history just to test if you know what to leave out. For example, if you're writing a referral to an orthopedic surgeon about a broken leg, they definitely don't need a whole paragraph about the patient's mild eczema from 10 years ago or their entire social background. Your job isn't to just copy the notes. Your job is to filter them. You have to separate the vital medical facts needed for care from the irrelevant details meant to trick you.
To breeze through these case notes, you've got to follow some golden rules. First, you have to expand those shorthand notes into complete, proper sentences. Second, and listen closely, do not use note or bullet form. Literally, just copying all the notes into bullets will instantly cost you your grade B. Third, choose only the relevant information. And fourth, never, ever invent outside medical details. Remember, this is an English test, not a test of your personal medical expertise. If you start adding clinical knowledge from your own head that isn't explicitly in the notes, you're going to lose marks. Stick exactly to the facts they give you.
Okay, section 4. Step 3. Plan paragraphs. Structuring for success. Let's move to and see how this builds, because even the best English grammar won't save a poorly organized letter. We're transitioning into the writing phase, and here is how you visually build the structure so it's super clear. Step 1 is your opening, where you drop that clear purpose we just talked about. Step 2 is the body.
This is where you logically lay out the relevant medical history, the treatments you gave, and the patient's current condition. You'll want to use linking words here to make the timeline obvious. Step 3 is the closing, which highlights exactly what you need from the recipient. This simple, 3-step standard layout makes it incredibly easy for the visual learner to memorize, and it's exactly what examiners want to see.
Section 5. Writing and word count. The golden rule of length.
All right, as you're writing those carefully planned paragraphs, you absolutely have to follow the strictest rule of the OET, the 180 to 200 word count. You've got to hit this target. But keep in mind, this strict boundary applies specifically to the body paragraphs of your letter. It doesn't count the date, the address, the subject line, or your sign-off at the bottom. The core medical story itself has to be concise and fit right into that 180 to 200 word sweet spot.
So, the crucial point is understanding why this rule even exists. It's all about simulating real-life healthcare. Real doctors and nurses are incredibly busy and need to read letters quickly without useless distractions. If your letter is under 180 words, well, the assessors figure you miss crucial clinical information that the next provider actually needs to safely care for the patient. But over 200 words, that means you didn't filter properly. You just included unhelpful details that are going to confuse and slow down the reader. Nailing this word count proves you possess both clarity and conciseness.
Finally, Section 6, Nursing and Medicine Tips, Tailoring to Your Profession.
The really cool thing about the OET is that it's tailored to your specific day-to-day reality in healthcare. And this brilliantly illustrates how the contexts differ. In medicine, a doctor's task will usually be referring a patient to a specialist or transferring them to allied health. But in nursing, you're often looking at discharging a patient to a community clinic or care home, focusing way more on future daily care, mobility, or medication compliance. So the scenarios are totally different, but the exact same core selection skills apply: finding the purpose, expanding notes properly, selecting relevant data, and structuring it perfectly within the word limit.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, here's a final provocative question to leave you with today. When you sit down for your next 45-minute practice test, are you just going to copy the notes like everyone else, or will you step up to the plate and select exactly what your reader needs? Remember, the OET writing task isn't just about showing off fancy English vocabulary. It's about proving you can communicate vital medical information safely and clearly. Focus on that target, reader. Stick to these steps, and you'll be completely confident and ready to achieve your grade B. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy studying.